On your mark, get set, go.
Hi, welcome to the StockinetteZombies. I'm Amy, also known as Nipma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It. And this is episode 336. We are recording a little early.
Yep. And I cleaned behind me so that I would just kind of have more of a blank slate.
Yeah, you look well lit. You are lit.
Right.
Lit
That
AF.
was that was the goal, is so that wouldn't be like half in shadow. and trying to mess with like, oh, the sun came out and now I feel really like blinded and
Yeah.
but
Can't count on that sun to give you even lighting on a cloudy day.
So now I'm facing the window and this is what's behind me now. No crafting stuff, but just, the woodwork.
House.
Closet has lots of yarn in it. It does. I promise.
Well, it is a crazy busy week here for me. I'm traveling tomorrow, which is why we're recording a day early. Yay. Yes. Going to Rhinebeck. Super excited to be headed that direction. A little sad that I don't get like my normal NYC route. Like I had a couple of, or part of the trip, leg of the trip, as it were. I had a couple of people be like, why are you going to New York? Your brother said that he was moving to Denver. And I was like, you said your brother was moving to Denver. Dirty little secret. It was to visit my brother. Yes. But it was also to visit the Yarny friends. So I'm going to continue to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I took today off to kind of prep. And I know this is in the middle of your work day.
Yep.
So flying out early or have to get on a shuttle early. That's the bummer about flying out of Minneapolis from Rochester is if you're getting on a shuttle, then you have to get on a shuttle early anyway, even if you're flying out at 11 o'clock.
Right.
So if you're up in the Twin Cities, that's an awesome time to leave. But I have to get on a shuttle, I think at 6:40.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and shuttles make sense when you're flying solo.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, now have the added consideration of leaving a car home that Ellie feels comfortable driving.
Oh,
she's
yes.
doing driving stuff. So I was like, all right, I can do this. Plus, it's more knitting time, right?
Yep, right.
Rather than driving time. But yeah.
Yeah. Is the shuttle picking you up or do you have to walk somewhere specific?
I always walk over to the hospital.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because they have a pickup there. Yep.
And it's really close.
Yeah, super close.
You.
Yeah. The only time it kind of stinks is when you're going somewhere, which you're going somewhere tropical. So it doesn't really matter, but it's like really chilly out here and you're going somewhere tropical and you don't want to take a big old coat that you would normally leave like in your car at the airport. But
right. Yeah.
It's a bit of a walk, but anyway.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. I told Amy before we started recording, I did some stash stirring to do the, typical overpacking for the trip of knitting projects. Nothing else is packed. All of my sweaters that I plan to wear have been washed and blocked, but knitting first, most important stuff.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's something that I should probably do because I've been kind of on a buying binge.
Stash stirring.
Yeah, stash stirring. It's a good demotivator.
Well, it's a good reminder of what all of the lovelies that you've got that you want to want to knit. Yeah.
Well, and I came up with like a list of like needle adjacent projects, but right now they're all, they could be part of the KEL. So I keep like, oh, I got to delay that one. So I'm looking for my next project that's not KEL yarn. And
I have to say that did factor into my consideration.
Right?
I was like, oh, this is really pretty. I have some like mohair merino. I think it's Marimo from Lavender Loom that I was thinking about knitting my granito in. And I was like, no, this is too much extra bonus for the ZKKEL.
Well, I had I had seen Gigi post her nearly finished or finished Hohi long summer sweater, and I have lavender loom yarn for that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that would be fun to cast on. And then I was like, no, that's a really big project with lots of yardage.
Yeah.
I'm gonna save that one.
Indeed it is. That was
then I
one of
thought,
the ones that I think I signed up for in my sleep.
there was a few quick projects. So I was like, oh, that'd be fun. And then of course the yarn that I had slated for it was the yarn, that counts for the KAL. So yeah, now I'm just trying to slow down a bit. I'll probably stir the stash for non-ZK. I got to take advantage of that, right? Because I do have a lot of yarn vendors that are not ZK that I can use.
Absolutely. Just a little bit of administrati.
Okay.
We had Tracy come and speak with us on a Saturday, which was fabulous, kind of pre-Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to all of our Canadian friends. And that was fabulous. That is available if you're a ZKN member in the past events. And I think she's just so warm and charming, like just like emanated warmth and happiness and joy. And I almost want to go back and rewatch it too, because I was just so mesmerized by her to watch it again. Second thing, we showed off the ZKN swag last week, so I won't be showing it again this week, but we've got that all went out in the mail. So you should have gotten a shipping notice. Even our Canadian friends should have gotten a shipping notice. So that all went out. It made for a busy past weekend. But it's good to get those out, and I'm excited for folks to have them. And then last but certainly not least, just wanted to mention I'm trying to arrange out in Discord a Rhinebeck meetup.
Oh, so, fun.
Yeah. Just to make sure. I mean, there's some friends that, I've, I knew before I was a knitter, like Karen, that are like, I'm going. That is like, okay, yeah, we don't necessarily need to meet up because I'm going to see you on the trip and know you. But if there's folks that are new to the group, or maybe haven't met anybody in real life because they're from out east, or this is their first big trip into the knitting world, I wanted to make sure that it was accessible, that it was an accessible group. So haven't posted a time. I'm thinking it's going to be either the podcast meetup on the hill or an adjacent time to that.
Okay.
So, yeah. Fun.
I was just looking up something really quickly while you were saying that, because I was like, oh, that looks exciting, because I remember our first trip to Rhinebeck and how much fun that was to get to see people that you haven't seen in person, or you don't get to see very often in person. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very fun.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Are we ready for the whips?
I am.
One last thing. Comfy, cozy, crafty, craft along. Shayna Lines Designs is donating some pattern prizes. So I wanted to make sure that I got that out there. Thank you so much, Shayna. It's fabulous and generous of you, and we'll be giving those away. Maybe we'll find a way to sneak in some during the KAL here in the next few months, because that goes through the end of December. And then we'll have some at the end as well. So yes, thank you, Shayna. She's got some really cute new patterns.
T-shirt is one that I want to do probably in the new year, right? Double points, triple points.
Yes. The recalibrate.
Yes.
Okay. I was like, she's selling T-shirts. I need a Shayna Lines Designs. Sorry.
No, a beautiful knitted T-shirt.
Yes.
So anyway, my whips, I might as well start. I've been doing the Hohi knit along. Although I will admit that I'm kind of disconnected. Like, I don't know the numbers for my project, and I haven't bothered to go look it up. And then I don't know how many weeks we are into it and how many weeks I have left.
You're loosely along.
I'm loosely knitting along.
Yeah.
But it is a good excuse to cast on some of her lovely designs. And I do truly have fun each year, just seeing what everybody else is knitting. So this is my rituals.
Ooh.
So you can see I am
Almost done.
just a sleeve away.
Yay.
So
Tell me
yeah,
about the yarn.
this is Teal Torch. And I get that from Eat Sleep Knit. It's actually really reasonable, I think. I believe the price point on the fingering weight is $26. And again,
Okay.
I know that that's not reasonable for everybody. I mean, but for hand dyed lately, when the upper range can be $34 a skein, I thought that was pretty good. And then, yeah, so I'm really enjoying that. And again, this isn't in my size, and it's got a lot of positive ease. It's only 4 skeins of yarn.
Yep. And it's a good like mixer, like if you inadvertently bought like a knot sweater quantity.
Right. Yeah, you can kind of mix them in because there's only 1 skein of the stripes needed. And yeah, I am kind of playing yarn chicken with it because I think that, you know, because this is left.
Ooh. You may end up shortening the other sleeve.
I might.
Yeah.
But I actually had to reknit one of the sleeves. So I think that having knit it twice now, I'm fairly close. Like I think I might be able to eke it out.
What happened with the other sleeve?
There's 3 needle sizes in this pattern.
Okay.
There's one for here,
ribbing, yeah,
up here, but that ribbing is different than this ribbing down here. And then the main body. I used the middle needle for my sleeve instead of the largest needle.
Got
So,
it. Yeah.
I changed back, right? Because I finished, you know, I finished down here on the cuff, and then I changed back, but I changed back just 1 size up instead of 2.
Got it.
Brain
Yeah, and small
malfunction.
circumference in the round, you need that bigger needle, right? Like it's the wrong direction.
Yes, exactly. And also I noticed it was fitting a little bit tighter, but it didn't bother me. And so I just kept going, finished the whole sleeve, and then just could see when the sleeve was laying up against the body of the sweater that there was a significant gauge difference. Because knitting in the round is a little tighter on smaller circumference, and it was a smaller needle.
Yeah.
So yeah, big oopsie, but it was just the sleeve, and it was actually it was a good chance to go back and redo the decreases a little bit more to my liking. And yeah. So
that's how I often try to find the silver lining when I'm redoing something. Is like I'm not just redoing it because I made one mistake, but I'm also improving something. I'm like, see, like it totally, I should have.
Well, another thing that I did is that right here where you're picking up kind of those extra little bits of stitches that aren't part of that bind off right there or cast on under the arm, I left those little guys in this time around. So it's also just a little bit wider to give myself that extra arm for all my muscles. So anyway, and I have
you're swole. You're lit and swole. I've got all the adjectives for you today. Very fun.
I have that in my beautiful sister bag. I'm really appreciating its size and general shape. So I'm liking that a lot. And I also feel like every time I pick out a color for it, it seems to go, you know, there's this mustard in here, mustard in here. And then I have these Lene pins. I don't know if you've seen her on Instagram. She's parking lot pimpin'.
Okay.
It's kind of like a fun educational video on Fridays, but it's also kind of entertaining. And she drinks a glass of tea because she's spilling tea. Yeah, it's kind of fun. But
very fun.
She might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I find her entertaining and I enjoy those Friday videos from her. But and then in the keeping of the Hohi knit along, I have the socks. So these are from the fall book that she put out.
Beautiful. Yeah. I like
Yeah.
how the color or that yarn is really popping with that texture.
Yeah, these are actually kind of a heavily what to say, it's a sport weight yarn. That's what the pattern calls for. But I felt like the sizing was off for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely would watch your gauge and make sure that, so I cast on the smaller size, even though I have a larger foot, because when I put the needles and yarn and everything together, I knew that I wouldn't want the 72 stitches that she has for a large. That would be
Okay.
a very large.
Mm-hmm.
So she does say that, you just adjust needle size to get gauge, and you can knit with fingering weight yarn. So there are ways to get a smaller version of this pattern.
Yeah.
But this was 60 stitches around, fits me pretty good.
Wow. I don't think we've seen that one in progress. You were like, bam, half a pair of socks.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a month. So yeah, yep, since we've done a whip.
Yeah.
And then I started the second one, and through the cuff a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then my final project, this is a bag from my mom. It's a chenille throw. I
Mm-hmm.
really like this.
Yeah. Looks texturific.
But it's also not this bright green. It's kind of a, I don't know, a 70s funky green, because that's
Yeah.
when the
I
throw
wonder,
is
I
done.
almost wonder if like our cameras are set up because of, or not cameras, but like Zoom is set up because of like possible green screen that it really
Oh,
makes like greens pop. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah.
Seems like
Something's wrong with the color.
with green specifically, but yeah.
Oh, wow, this looks really strange in the lighting. This is a heathered pink from Eco Wool, Cascade Eco Wool Plus. It
Like
does
that
not
mega
look this
skein.
way. Yeah, but it doesn't look this way with the weird tan
Hmm.
in there in person at all. It's a nice berry color all the way through. Um, but this is two strands held together to make a blanket. This is a Jared Flood pattern. Umbro, Umbro, UMB something something something.
Hmm.
So just a
Pretty.
baby start on this. It's going to be throw size. At least that's what I cast on for, is throw size.
Yeah.
It seems smaller than that when it's on the needles, but I think with a decent blocking and getting off of the circular, it's going to be a good size. It's
Yeah.
supposed to
I
be
bet
like
with
44 inches wide, I
I
think.
bet with those cables, it's really eating the yarn.
Yeah, there's only the one cable, just that one right there.
Oh, okay.
Everything else is just increases, decreases, and yarn overs
Uh,
in there. But yeah, there'll be another one here soon.
got it.
So, but yeah, it does put a lot of a thick texture right there. So yeah, it probably does eat up quite a bit. I'm just blown away by that brown that it's showing in there, or tan.
Picking up something.
Yeah. It's like I'm looking down at it, not at the camera, going, what color is that? It's not in there. So this, I'll have to take a picture of it and put it online. But this
Yeah.
is for the final Yarnathon Eat Sleep knit along. So they have chunky lace as the prompt for the final knit along.
Fun, fun.
So I'm excited for that, just because I've been knitting along this whole time. I tried to enable a few people. They had a fun little secret code that you could get 15% off at
Yeah.
their place. So I thought that was kind of cute.
I will, yeah, it was, you had to figure it out, right? Like there was, yeah.
Yep. You had to look up the yardages of certain yarns and add them together. And it had a little story with it. Yeah, it was cute.
And then once it worked, then you would get the discount all off.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was super fun. I think I saw that you posted that.
Yep. And then I I ended up using it, my wool piggery.
As you do.
As you do. Well, I've been knitting with this teal torch, and it was so pretty that I decided to buy, what's the Andrea Mowry pattern where it's got 2 skeins of a solid, and then it's kind of like checker little pops in between
She's
the.
got a couple. So there's like the Velocore, which is the short sleeve one.
That's the one, Velocore. That's the one that I knew it started with a V. You nailed it.
Well, I've knit it. Sometimes I remember what I knit. Sometimes I'm like that one pattern.
Yeah. But so I bought some yarn for a Velocore because it looked like, I don't know, it just looked like the perfect fall color setup. And if I get it here soon, which I will, because they're really good about shipping, I'm going to be able to knit that before the start of the new year.
Excellent. Excellent.
And I've also been very, 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 very tempted to stash dive for the Stephen West one, just because I've seen all these people with 5 skeins of yarn, and I would really like to get rid of 5 skeins of yarn.
Oh, yeah. Problem to have.
Right,
All right.
true.
So I, much like you, were talking about, I'm now like, oh, I have so much yarn, right? Because I just got done stash stirring. We'll see if it lasts me through Saturday. I'm guessing not, because there'll be a lot of yarn that I won't see in real life. And last time I went to a yarn shop in Denver, I lost my mind with Shayna. I came home with a ton of yarn. Some of it I've used, so that mohair from Spun Right Round, and whatnot. But my theme in stash stirring was the use it or lose it, which I have stuck with all year, much like the Sleep Knit. Yes. This is some why can't I think of the name of it? I got it at Rhinebeck when Ellie went with me. It's the colorways Radioactive, and it is Into the Whirl.
Oh, okay.
Into the World. They've always got a very tempting booth because they've got the colorways all knit up into socks and they're all up above. And I remember getting things like cat's pajamas and whatever.
Oh yes. I really like their fiber selection as well. It's really, really nice.
So I'm making another bralette. Again, the screen is really popping in a way that it really isn't, but it's purples and
that's a really good use for all of those use it or lose it, that bralette.
Yeah. So I've figured out that I can use basically a skein of fingering for my size and get like a cami instead of a bralette out of it. I think I end up going like 12, 14 inches before I do the bottom again, and then make the top. But yeah, it's super crazy colorway. It'll be great, like on the go knitting. So that was the first.
Is it Ysolda? Somebody, I think it's Ysolda. She has a really cool pattern right now that it's kind of like you knit like a pill shape and then you tuck it so that it's a hat.
Yep.
Right?
That's the Musselburgh hat. Yep.
Musselburgh hat. Thank you. That one looks like another good use for use it or lose it yarns. I think that would be really cool. And it's kind of, she says it's graded for all yarn weights.
No, it's I mean, that kind of looks like, for me anyway, which this is just mixing some pearls in, but that kind of looks like a sock head hat to me. And I think I've knit one sock head. Just couldn't do it.
It was boring. Is that what you mean? Too much stockinette?
I became too much of a stockinette zombie. I became like a slayed stockinette zombie.
Yeah, I can imagine it being okay for like you said, mindless meetings or walking or whatever. I don't know. I just looked at it and went, maybe.
I've seen some beautiful ones like Beth and a couple people out on Discord have posted theirs with some of those kind of one skein jumped into my cart. I love the colors. What am I going to do with it? Type thing.
Yeah,
but I wear my bralettes underneath items as like a cami, and then also like when it's warmer out, right? So right now it's cold. It's getting a chill in the air and I'm still wearing it underneath things. Jeremy's like, do you get extra points when you are knitting underneath the knitting? I'm like, yes, yes, you do. I also kicked up my, which I showed last time as a favorite thing, my farmer's daughter. I don't know if this is going to end up being a hat, socks. I don't know what it's going to end up being. It's beautiful. That's what it is. And it's rambouillet and it's smushy and dense and fabulous. I was thinking about getting Tracy's hat that was that Winter's Walk, I believe, that's for worsted, and either holding this double and trying to eke out a hat or maybe downsizing it for a fingering weight hat. I thought that was a super cute pattern. Also packed up some leftovers. It's in my emergency bag, emergency knitting bag with a mask, and have my leftover Marigold Jen and some leftover Dirty Water dye works from ZK, and have it with some sock needles, so could be emergency pair of socks.
Okay.
Should my emergency pair of or my emergency bralette not be what I want to knit, I don't know. Again, I'm packing way too many things. I keep telling myself that if I pack less, I'll have room to bring more home with me, but and I have to take a sweater along with me as well, right? So this is for a granito. I'm heavily influenced by if the pattern is modeled in a darker color. I seem to migrate to darker colors. I looked at some lighter colors and I was like, yeah. So this was Sundara yarn. And again, this is another use it or lose it, because I don't remember the last time I bought Sundara yarn. I think it was when they sent us, they always very generously send us yarn. And I was like, oh, this is really pretty. So this is As the Night Color Begins. And it's a really nice, again, I don't know if you're catching it with the light, but some really nice blues and dark blues and purples and lighter purples. It's their fingering weight base. And I have 4 skeins of it. So on the granito, it kind of is a longer length and there's pockets. So I needed the 4 skeins, and this has been marinating in my stash for way too long. Thought about grabbing like a yarn baby, but this definitely has been in the stash for much, much longer. So yeah.
Was just thinking about how I have to lose my alpaca yarn. And I was some of that alpaca was sitting in a box that was special or soft or whatever, and there's a bunch of skeins of yarn that I should probably knit into something beautiful, like a Bijou Basin Ranch stuff. I remember like a while ago we had like lace cashmere from Plucky, right?
Yes.
So I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to make, but I got to make something out of that.
Yeah. Yep. So all these things were kind of, well, I just caked up some of them. And I've been working on a design for Point Counterpoint with Mary Kino Knits. And so I've been telling myself I can't cast on any of these things. The design is not ready for prime time here, but that is a WIP. And then I've kind of been mixing, like if I need to rip out, obviously I cast this on, and then also my Tunisian crochet entrelac squares with my scraps are getting those borders, poco a poco, little by little, which is very odd for me. But again, because it's not knitting, I feel like it's a different craft. It would be like sewing or whatever. So I'm not like stressing about all of the WIPs, although I do have my Radvent throw that I've seamed it together, but I've not put the edging on. And that's another thing that's in my pile in the yarning room that I'm like, okay, guys, okay, Megan, got some WIPs piling up here, and this doesn't feel like you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, along the lines of stash stirring and trying to not buy anything, I did come up with a gem of something that I would buy if I got the urge to buy something over Rhinebeck. just because FOMO, right? You know, I'm going to see all the Instagram posts and I'm just going to just get, oh, you know, was Jill Draper. During our first one, that was the only yarn I bought. I went to Jill Draper and I got the Empire base, like the big yarn baby.
Yeah.
And that was my purchase for the year, plus a spindle. But the yarn baby was the only yarn that I bought. And I really
gave my yarn baby a hug while I was stirring my stash. I still have a yarn baby in my stash too.
Oh, that's funny. I've gotten two of them and I've knit both of them. I really enjoy her yarn. The only ones I haven't knit up are the ones that weren't as special of a base, right? They weren't as sheepy as a base from her. But the Monhunk Light, I just put my festive doodle on this past week, and I just loved how cozy and the sheepiness of it, and it made me like, oh, I don't have any of this in my stash anymore because I knit it all up. But I also have a lot of scraps, so I was thinking what I would do if I got thrown off would be go out and order some of that in a nice neutral that goes with the scraps that I have. Seems practical. And then as soon as it gets here, I can cast on something beautiful. Or I can send you the, like, hey, if you're
I don't know if I'll see Jill. You know, she does things in her studio now rather than and I don't know if that's on the docket or not. I've not seen anything about Jill Draper in her studio in Kingston. But yeah, it'll be fun. I'm going to Indy Untangled, so I'll see a bunch of people there that I don't normally see. And then the fairgrounds, you know, filled. I think there's going to be less vendors, which makes sense. And there'll be more spaced out.
You'll have to go see Cece.
Yes, absolutely. Meet her IRL.
Yep, and I heard she's got a big bundle of leaf voter suppression behind.
Yes, yeah, beautiful colorways. Yeah. So, yeah, and lavender on my list. So I pre-bought from Indy Untangled. They set some, like, you could pre-order up. So I pre-bought and I have to get that. So I know that's for sure coming home with me. And then I really want to get Lavender Loon's new base that the Sam Squared was talking about in our ZKN event for that cowl. So it's and then she dyed up Laughing Buddha specifically for me because that's like the color of my soul. So yeah, it should be a good time. I'm going to try to be a better Instagrammer. I've not been doing great recently with posting stuff at the end of the day. I think I just get done with work and running around and doing whatever. And I'm like, and now it's getting to be where it's dark after I'm done with all of this stuff. And that's not great for taking photos either. So, but so excited to see everyone. Hope to run into you if you're going to be there, and make sure that you go out and say something in Discord if you want to make sure that we meet up. And super excited. I'm just, I had to explain, like, well, you already had like a event where you weren't with your family and you had time off, and I'm like, but I was working at ZK.
Yes.
This is like my, I don't have to make this event happen. Repayment.
Yeah, I really do like going on vacations like that where you're just kind of at the whim. Like, I don't know, whatever you guys want to do, I'm just here.
Take no kids to like make sure have bathed and changed clothes, and when do they want to eat, and
Oh, you check on their bathing and changing clothes?
Well, we're all staying in the same hotel room. Generally, you're like, okay, it's about time for bed. Go take a shower. But yeah, my kids are a little bit younger than yours still. So
I'm like, I don't, sometimes I look at the clothes and go, was that on your body yesterday? Oh, well, what are you going to do?
Well, maybe the food then, coordinating the feeding of the children. You can relate to that.
Just teasing. No, completely understand. It is a special kind of freedom.
Yes,
when you can kind of let everybody else drive, you know, just whatever you want to do. I'm just here
Yes.
enjoying.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sure.
All right.
right.
You've heard enough of us blathering on, guys.
Yep. Bye.
Bye, Ufta.